What's up, man? This is Ricky from Team Project Attraction, here to give you the attraction secrets you need to get those awesome results in the dating field. So today, we're going to talk about the 3 advantages a lot of introverts have in the dating field. And this just comes from, a lot of clients or people that tend to become students on Team Project Attraction, some high caliber badasses out there. They tend to be introverts. And the thing with introverts is they're already actually pretty good with women. They just tend to compare themselves with loud extroverts, because when you go out to the nightclub or bar, it can be helpful to be loud, get attention, right? Like the number one step, the first step of attraction is to get attention. However, you'll tend to find that you'll be in a room with like 5 guys that are super loud, obnoxious, and it's like da-da-da, and it's all this pissing contest of who can be louder, right? They're like, well, I gotta get the attention. When, if you just play the other strategy, you can get the attraction from all the women in the room. So here's the 3 tips that make you a badass. Point number 1 is introverts tend to be really good listeners when they're talking to people. So if you're going up and you're being a good listener, you're letting her talk and you're actually doing more of the work. A lot of guys who get into game, they think about all these like techniques to be funny, to be witty, to be charismatic, when really I tend to get the best results when I tend to be more introverted, when I'm like not so extroverted, but I'm like, go up, say hi to the girl, and then I just let her do the talking. And I'm just comfortable in that silence. And we'll get to that a little bit later, how that's powerful. So point number 2 is introverts tend to be more in tune with the other person, what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and they tend to ask really good questions. So again, unlike the extrovert who's just trying to get all the attention and get everyone reacting to him, the extrovert is actually being proactive and asking about the other person. And I know this, this has been helpful, and I've actually learned this from my girlfriend because she's definitely an introvert and has great girl game. And I tend to be the extrovert, so when we go out, I know how to get attention, but she'll just quietly stand there, and all the attention goes to her. And we'll get to the influence trigger behind that in a second. But you can ask good questions, and especially if you're talking to a girl who's extroverted, if you tend to give her attention, dive deeper into what she says and ask very thoughtful questions, you'll notice again that she'll start doing more of the talking, you're doing more of the leading, and you're doing less of the work. It's almost like that 80-20 principle where you're doing 20% of the work and you're getting 80% of the results, where the person at the end, the girl, is like, damn, this guy's awesome. I love talking to this guy. This guy's hot. I love him. And high caliber men, guys who are more established, more set with themselves, are confident, they don't try as hard. So if you look at the extrovert's behavior, it can always come off very try hard in some areas. So if you're doing less, hanging back, but you're doing it confidently and you're sure of yourself, you're listening, you're doing eye contact, you're asking the right questions, it's actually very attractive for the girl. They're like, oh, damn. And then point number 3 is the power of silence. So this is a psychological trigger, but it's wired into us as humans that usually when we see someone who's a little bit more quiet, we tend to think of them as more wise. If you think of like Zen masters or the guy at the top of the mountain, is he doing a lot of talking, or is he just kind of sitting there like meditating, right? He's more quiet. So I've noticed this even with like people that are more introverts, or even my girlfriend, like people will look at her and they'll try to get her validation because she's being more quiet, she's being more stead back, and that comes off as being confident. Even if you're not confident, if you're just more quiet and just centered, people are going to be like, oh shit, like what is this guy thinking? What does he think about me? And if you're just like, oh, cool, or I don't know about that, they're like, oh, I got to talk more, right? So as a recap, these are the 3 advantages. Listening, letting the other person do most of the work and talking. Asking good questions to lead the conversation, dive deeper into the person and let them even express more of themselves, because everyone loves talking about themselves. Everyone loves getting a chance to, mention what they're passionate about. But a lot of times, everyone's competing to talk. So if you hang back, let that person talk and listen, that's so fucking attractive to them, especially girls. And then point number 3 is the power of silence. If you're comfortable in silence and not saying as much, that's very intoxicating. They're like, you suck the person into their world and they want to get to know you more. You make it a challenge to get to know you rather than just vomiting everything out at them, and you're going to have them clawing for your validation. All right? I hope that helps. Leave your questions down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
This little piggy got a house made of bricks, hand over hand over hand. little piggy got a house made of bricks. Huff and puff, bitch, you ain't blowing down shit. This little piggy got a house made of bricks. Hand over hand.